Good morning. Well, it's a bit of a departure for me today because I'm doing something I don't usually do on this channel, and that's basically giving a review of some games. I don't generally tend to do this because it takes me so long to finish a game that by the time I've got round to doing a review, everyone's moved on to the next thing. But it's the end of the year and everyone's looking at the best games of the year, and I thought, well, I might as well stick my 5 eggs in and tell you what I think are the best games of the year. Now, obviously, as with anyone else, this is a personal preference. I have no more insight into this stuff than you guys, and my own personal opinion is just that. The fact that I have to explain that to some people seems a bit odd to me, but there you go. My opinion is my opinion, your opinion's your opinion. We can disagree, we can agree, and, well, as ever, let's have a chat. But before we can have a chat, I need to tell you what I think are the best games of the year. And the first one that comes to mind is Gears of War 4. This came out earlier in the year, and I actually got the Gears of War Xbox, the themed one, the Xbox One S. So that was a nice little package, and I've played a little bit of online. Don't play a huge amount of online these days, but I played a little bit of online, and Gears of War Online is cracking fun. I was playing Horde with Sully, of One Guy's Opinion, and I was having a blast. I'm not sure he was because he was a lot better than I was. But we had a good time, and I've been playing through the campaign. Still haven't finished it yet, but what I've played of it so far is very, very enjoyable. Been playing on the Xbox and the PC, and it's a blast. It's a Gears of War game, and as such, it's great fun. If you like the Gears of War games, you will like this one. Fantastic graphics, arguably the best story of the franchise so far, tight controls, what's not to like? So yeah, do yourself a favour, go out and get it if you've got an Xbox, and if you haven't got an Xbox, why haven't you got an Xbox? Yes, everyone's going to start calling me an Xbot now. I think I'm doing something right because I've got the Xbox fanboys having a go at me for being a Sony pony, and the Sony fanboys having a go at me for being an Xbot. But anyway, that's my first game, and this is in no particular order, I have to say. It varies from day to day which one I think's the best. The next one I have to talk about is actually an indie game, and that's Inside. Now, Inside was made by Playdead, and they're the guys who made Limbo, which is also a great game. And this is something very, very different, Inside. It's dark, it's disturbing, it's thought-provoking, and it's haunting. And it even manages to, incorporate things like the body horror of something like a David Cronenberg film or a William Burroughs novel. So it's a very broad idea in that sense that it makes you really think about things, and it's got an almost literary feel about it. Now, don't let that put you off if you're not into reading or you're not into novels or whatever. It's still a great game to play, and the controls on it are simple and very easy to pick up. It's a side scroller, and I'm not actually a fan of side scrollers generally, but this one does transcend the genre. And it really is worth picking up. You can probably pick it up pretty cheap now. It's a PC game, or at least I played it on the PC. I think it's also available on the PS4. So do yourself a favour. If you've got a PS4 or a gaming PC, pick it up. It's not expensive, and it's a brilliant, brilliant little vignette of a game. It's just wonderful to play through something that haunts you and stays with you for weeks and months later. And this game certainly does that. So that's the second one. Moving on. This one's probably going to be the most controversial choice in this lineup. And I don't know if you guys can guess this, but it's Quantum Break. Now, first thing I have to say is Quantum Break on the PC, don't bother, it's a dog's breakfast. But it was the first game that did the cross-play thing, or the cross-buy thing, I should say. And it was a bit of a missed opportunity there because, like I say, the version that came out for the PC is a dog's breakfast, and it's absolute pig to drive it on PC. However, I played it on the Xbox, and I have to say I had a blast with it. It's quite a short game. I think it took me about 5 hours to complete it, maybe a bit longer. And if you factor in the sort of TV series that goes with it, it's a bit longer. That was quite innovative, and I know that they brought that in to try and push the multimedia capabilities of the Xbox in the early days of Xbox, and it was a kind of hangover from that. But I think it works, you know. I don't think it's perfect, and if they did a sequel, I'm not sure I'd want to see them do that again, but it did work for me. And if you take that out of it, you take that out of the equation as well, it had a great story. And the time travel elements, I saw some people moaning about the time travel and saying it was a kind of like a MacGuffin so he could have superpowers, which couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I've said this before, I've actually studied time travel novels and the tropes within time travel. And if you're looking at a game that handles time travel well, this is probably the best one out there for me. Often it's nonsensical. In films as well, I find a lot of the time there's a lot of nonsensical claptrap. Now, if you delve really deeply into this, you can see it's not going to work fully. Time travel never works though. And that's what people don't get. You have to suspend disbelief. And the fact is you can suspend disbelief while you're playing this game. So yeah, it's a fun if flawed offering. But if you like time travel, if you like good characters, if you like a good story, it's worth getting. Especially now, you'll be able to pick it up really cheap. I think the proof of the pudding is often, would you like to see a sequel? And I definitely would like to see a sequel. So yeah, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one, but that's definitely one of my games of the year. It's one of the few games I've finished for a long time as well. I finished it completely, utterly, finished everything, picked up all the collectibles and everything in it. So it must have been fun for me. The next game on the list is not only one of my games of the year, it's one of the best games out there, period. And that's Forza Horizon 3. Now, that sounds like a huge claim, it's one of the best games out there. But if you actually look at it, it's like the culmination of years of racing games coming together in this one gorgeous package. It's like automotive porn in some respects. When it first came on, when I first started playing the game, I was actually giggling like an idiot because it looked fantastic and it made me so happy. It's very rarely that I turn on a game these days and it just makes me laugh for all the right reasons. It's like a fusion between Project Gotham Racing, if you guys remember that, and Burnout and Forza Motorsport itself. And it's polished, well, to a blinding shine. Everything about it is just so honed. The handling, the way it looks, everything about the game, the cars in it, it's just gorgeous. And it's possibly the best racing game you will ever play in terms of the fun that you will get from it. It's, not as hardcore as Forza Motorsport, for instance, but it's such fun to play. And I think it's probably the most fun I've ever had playing a racing game. And the only time that it's going to get surpassed is when they come out with Forza Horizon 4. So that's that one. And the next one, if you guys have noticed so far, it's been 3 Xbox games and a PC game. And my final game in this is a PS4 game. And I know PS4 fans are going to be thinking, oh, he's an Xbox because he's going on all about Xbox games. Well, it's just the games I've preferred this year, so, it could change next year. But the last game in this list, and certainly not the least game in this list, is Uncharted 4. This game came out earlier in the year, and I played through it, and oh my God, this game is phenomenal. It's got good characters, good story, the visuals in it are stunning. The character models in it are great. The set pieces are fluid and great to play. Just everything about the game. I said this about Forza, but this game is so polished. It looks great. It feels great to play. Oh God, I could go on about this game forever, honestly. If you look at Nathan Drake in this game and his progression, you really feel for the guy. And then there's a point in it, and I don't want to give spoilers away for you guys who haven't played the game, but there's a point in it where he lies to his wife. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, for God's sake, don't do that, Nathan. How often do you get that with a game where you're actually cringing for a character and you want them to do the right thing and they're making a complete arse of themselves and messing it up? And you really feel for him. It's just, it's such a wonderful experience to play through a game that makes you feel like you're in the heart of a big adventure, either a big adventure novel or probably more likely a big adventure movie like, well, people have said this before, Indiana Jones. But Nathan Drake as a character and Sully as well, they're fantastic characters. In this one, you've got his brother that turns up as well. They're fairly cliched, but you really do, while you're playing the game, invest yourself into it. It's such fun to play, and I will go back and I will play this game again. And as I say, wanting a sequel is a test of whether a game's good. Wanting to go back and play a game again and again and again, which I would with this one, is a test of how good the game is. And this game is possibly, arguably, the game of the year for me. So anyway, that's my 5 favourite games of the year. I won't say they're the best games of the year. I said that earlier, but it's, personal preference really at the end of the day. That's my 5. What do you guys think? What are your favourite games of the year? Do you have favourite games of the year? Do you think any of them have stood up this year? Do you think it's been a good year for games? Or are you waiting for next year and hoping that some more decent stuff turns up? Because for me, I think it's actually not been a bad year. And I hope that next year it will continue in that vein and will improve, because we've had some fairly bad years in recent years, to be honest. And I don't think this year's been too bad. I think there's been plenty of games out there that have been worth playing. It's not been a classic year, let's be honest, but it has been a good year, or decent year at least. But as I say, come and let me know which games you preferred. Tell me if you think I was right in my selection, or, tell me if you think I was wrong in my selection. I'm sure there's a few people out there who want to be vocal about some of my choices, either agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. But, as ever, let's have a chat about it. It's, our favourite games after all. And let's have a bit of fun in the comments. And I'll speak to you guys again soon. And you know where I'm going. I'm going to go and put the kettle on. And I will, as I say, speak to you soon. Bye, and Merry Christmas.